A sunny Sunday morning. Could there be a better way to spend the time than reading a favorite book? Well, that depends on where you live, because in some places, that sort of thing could really get you into hot water.
I've been caught reading a book that has been banned as recently as last year. So for that crime, I'm guilty as sin, and I am willing to take up and be locked up in my prison of banned books. I would do so willingly, and I do so for all of us. I'm in it now. There's no escape. There is the door, but and there's a webcam set up, and I'm still looking at the webcam and me and going, oh my gosh, what am I doing?
And whereas conformity limits the range and variety of inquiry and expression on which
it's not every incarceration that gets a proclamation from the governor. But then what local writer and Angie's List online editor Hugh Vadivier is doing is anything but ordinary. He's sitting in a makeshift prison for 1 week as part of Banned Books Week, a nationwide effort started 30 years ago to raise awareness about censorship in America. On one side, cell walls made from, banned books. And the other?
2-alarm. I'll be calling out 1-alarm, 2-alarm.
And the prison itself? It's in the Vonnegut Library.
It is a perfect place just because of the nature of the guy whose name is on the front door.
But Kurt Vonnegut's in good company, and view number 2 from Hugh's prison includes covers of banned books, re-envisioned by local artists, to be auctioned off, with proceeds split between the artists and the library.
It's good to take a holistic approach so that we're involving a lot of different aspects of the community. That helps with the awareness as well, so it doesn't just get siloed into, it's this little literature thing that we're doing.
At this point, it probably strikes you that while Hugh's dedication to the cause is somewhat superhuman, there are some mighty mortal requirements for a week-long stay.
Yes, I can use the bathroom. It's not a bucket in the corner, which would be awful. The food factor is I've gotten all these restaurants to feed me.
Hugh, what's up?
How you doing, man?
Awesome.
You got pizza for me, huh?
Pizza and beer.
Oh boy. They feed me well in the stir.
I'm really glad you guys are doing this.
Oh, thanks,
I'm
man.
really glad that you're doing this. I mean, it seems fitting that a Wabash guy would do it.
This is the best this Wabash English major has been fed for a week in a long time.
That's probably true.
But it's the banned books, some astoundingly harmless, that stun visitors and friends alike.
Where the wild things are. Anytime you have animals that talk, for some reason.
It's the Diary of Anne Frank.
That was recent. Yeah. So I was looking at Why to Kill a Mockingbird. Mm-hmm. It's been banned because there's racism in it.
Okay.
Which is the point of the...
Yes, racism is bad. That's one of the things. That's one of the takeaways.
Hughes kept in touch with the outside world, blogging for several media outlets and writing up the weekly Tuesday pub quiz at the Broad Ripple Brew Pub. The topic? Well, censorship, of course.
We tied for first, but lost the tiebreaker. But the quiz went over very well.
Who won team name?
We won team name.
Yeah, what was it?
The team name was actually Who the Bleep is Hugh Vadivier.
Okay, funny story. Coworkers at Angie's List came by today. They had a sign that says "Free Hugh" and it had spelled H-U-E.
Oh.
Nice to meet you.
I don't know if you know much about Harriet the Spy.
A little bit.
Well, Harriet, after school, always gets cake and milk. Old Golly gives her cake and milk. So this is on the official state.
I see that.
Such anonymity may be difficult to maintain, especially when, among the celebrities who come by each night to read Hugh banned bedtime stories, is a couple who's taking time off from running the state.
I was kind of Googling a little bit and researching about banned books, and Bruce Coville, I don't know if you know him, but his quote is, "The real heroes are the librarians and teachers who at no small risk to themselves refuse to lie down and play dead for censors." So it's my privilege to read from Harriet the Spy. And as a parent, there were maybe books where I thought, I just don't think this child maybe is ready for a certain book. Maybe one of my other kids was ready for it at a certain age. So I understand censoring as a parent, but I was surprised to see that some of the books that were on the banned book list. But I guess I would reach out to those people and say, maybe it isn't appropriate for your beliefs, or for your family or for your particular child for whatever reason, but it doesn't mean nobody else should be able to read it.
Liberty lies in the hearts of men and women. When it dies there, no constitution, no law, no court can save it. But with the example of our kids fighting for their rights, I think we have every reason to be hopeful for the future.
Books don't hurt people. The response to ideas that are harmful is speech. You know, other refuting those ideas, taking them on and challenging them. You know, free speech is a solution to the problems of free speech. It's the best solution we have.
Hugh's imprisonment is only part of the week's focus. Films such as Slaughterhouse-Five and Good Night and Good Luck were screened, and lecturer Chris Finan spoke at the Central Library. Among his topics, young people opposed to censorship, epitomized by this letter from an 8th grader, who, along with her fellow students, got the perks of being a wallflower unbanned from an Illinois school.
When I was hitting a rough point in my life, I read this book for the first time, and I can honestly say it helped me by giving me someone to relate to. I would never deny a group of preteens or teens a book that could possibly help them the exact same way that it helped me. And if one small group of people are trying to press their belief on a larger audience with misinformation, they're only going to be proved wrong. And we did. I love that part.
Fresh air would be nice. For once, the local forecast doesn't mean a damn thing to me right now because it's always 69 degrees is the high and 69 degrees is the low. I'm glad I brought this bike in. I borrowed it from the Wellness Center in Angie's List because I thought that at some point I was going to go stir crazy and I didn't want to do laps around the building. I feel a little solitary, even though I'm very public. The real star of this whole display, this whole tableau, are the books. I had a visitor come in and she just laid herself prostrate just looking and reading through all the titles of the books. So the display has been eminently effective.
40 years ago, the Drake, North Dakota School Board burned 32 copies of Slaughterhouse-Five and banned it from their schools. Kurt Vonnegut responded.
The news from Drake indicates to me that books and writers are very unreal to you people. And I'm writing this letter to let you know how real I am. I read in a newspaper that your community is mystified by the outcry from all over the country about what you have done. Well, you have discovered that Drake is a part of the American civilization, and your fellow Americans can't stand it that you have behaved in such an uncivilized way. Perhaps you will learn from this that books are sacred to free men for very good reasons, and that wars have been fought against nations which hate books and burn them. You should also resolve to expose your children to all sorts of opinions and information in order that they will be better equipped to make decisions and survive. I am a good citizen, and I am very real.
And Hugh Vadivier, too, is very real. And although this week has been largely a symbolic stand against censorship, it's a cause that he's been willing to devote a week of his life to exclusively furthering.
Take a stand. I definitely, this is the most, I'm not a really political, I'm not a protest kind of guy, and so this is the most audacious thing I think I've ever done.
Freedom came my way one day.
I had that Shawshank moment.
Inside the library, Hugh's imaginary prison walls are tumbling down. Just how much the real barriers of censorship will do so as well may be answered someday in part by the rhetorical question, just who the bleep is Hugh Vadivier?
He's a guy who did something crazy just so more people would notice what they don't notice, which is that people are banning books and people are trying to stifle thought.